There we go.
Okay, here we are.
There we go.
Thank
Yeah.
you, thank you, thank you. That's right.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yeah. Here we go.
Okay, great stuff. We are live.
Yes,
Okay.
we are.
Hello, everybody. This is, of course, Harold's Prog show. And for the first time, that's really an experiment. I have a guest. And that's the famous Scot from the United States of America with 8,000, more than 8,000 subscribers. So, Scott, tell me something.
Hey, how are you doing? Can you hear me okay, Harold? We had some technical difficulties. We were a few minutes late, but we figured it out thanks to your son coming in with the save. Yeah, hey, I guess this what? I'm the first guest you've ever had on Harold's Prog Rock Show. The Netherlands' finest prog rock show. Absolutely. It's an honor to have been invited. And today's subject is, it's probably something you might be a little bit of an expert in, right? It's Dutch prog rock. So I can't imagine a better person to talk about it with than you.
Yeah, that's right, Scott. It's really an honor to have you on my channel. The famous Scott from the Prog Corner. That's 2.5 years old channel, and Scott is making progress.
Yeah, we are. It's growing. When I started, I had no idea, how it was going to do, or even if it was going to be something I'd want to keep doing. So I've been as surprised as anybody at how fast the channel has actually taken off, and the subscriber counts and the view counts have just been incredible. And we're still growing. I mean, every single day, new people find the channel. It's just incredible. And like you said, it's only been 28 months. So, we're still little babies. We got a long way to go. World domination is our final goal. And it's been awesome.
If we look to Sea of Tranquility by Pete Pardo, then there's a very long way.
Yeah. He's going to be hitting 100,000 subscribers here probably May or June. So, that guy works really hard. He deserves all the success because he puts a lot of hours into it. And I just can't imagine having a full-time job, having a family, and then spending, 8-9 hours a day doing YouTube stuff. It's a lot. It really is. So Pete Pardo, hats off to you, man.
Yeah, hats off. It's great. Okay. The subject for tonight is the 15 best prog rock Dutch albums of all time. And we do a ranking. So the ranking will count from number 15 up until number 1. And Scott is my guest today, so he will give his opinion on these 15 albums. Is that right?
Normally I do a one per artist, but I'm not doing that today because I feel so strongly about a couple of artists from the Netherlands that I got to double dip on a couple of them. I just have to. There's no other way around it, but my apologies to a couple of Dutch bands that I'm not going to be talking about today. Solution. What an amazing band they were.
Yeah. With Scott on Blow.
Lady Lake, a band so good that when I was doing my hidden prog gems, I called Nidralog. I called them Lady Lake because I really enjoy their music. Their latest album was fantastic. Silhouette, not on the list. Epica, The Gathering. How about Odysseus?
Odysseus,
man, I think that's how you pronounce it. What an incredible band there. Leap Day. I don't have Star One on my list. I don't have Fractal Mirror on my list. Harold, I don't have Night Area on my list.
I have.
This is how good the prog scene is. This is how good the prog scene is in the Netherlands. It's just
Night Area.
Flamborough Head, Tryon, some amazing stuff. But I had to throw some Aryan in there at number 15. I am not really qualified to get into a whole deep discussion about the man and his music, but I am putting at my number 15 Dutch prog albums of all time, The Human Equation by Arian. I really love it. I love the guest singers on this one, where you've got Heather Findlay and James LaBrie and Michael Ackerfeld, and who else am I missing is on there? Devin Townsend. I mean, it's an all-star cast. It's a great record, and I've got that at number 15, Harold.
Yeah, that's a great choice. And I have to say, Other Size with Moon Drive is in fact my number 16. It's a great album. And of course, Within Temptation, Epica, it's also made lots of great albums.
You know, I saw Within Temptation a couple years ago, Harold. They opened for Iron Maiden, and yeah, fantastic. Just a great band.
Yeah. Okay. Then my number 15, Finch debut album, Glory of the Universe, 1975. I have to say, this is instrumental rock, but it's very good.
Yeah. You know, they put out some fantastic records, and I get the feeling they might be on my list somewhere here, Harold.
Okay. That's right.
I'm pretty sure they're going to make my list at some point, but at number 14, I'll probably talk about this guy a little bit later in another band, but Rick van der Linden. Yeah, he was in a band, but then that band broke up, and he got into another band. I'm going with the Exception sixth album, Trinity. I like all six of their first six albums. I think are just fantastic records. But Trinity, you know how it goes, Harold. That's the first one that I ever heard from them. So that, plus there was a song on it called Improvisation. It was like 10-minute song that just really captured my imagination. Really like it. So I got that at number 14, Exception, Trinity.
Exception is in fact the Dutch version of The Nice.
Kind of, yeah. With all that keyboard work and whatnot. Yeah, I definitely hear that.
And the main man was, of course, Rick van der Linden.
Rick van der Linden, yeah. How do you?
Yeah, Rick van der Linden.
I'm gonna butcher a lot of these names. I know they had a saxophone player named Jan Venek.
Yeah, Jan Venek.
Cord Decker on bass, and Peter Vogt was the drummer. Awesome record. I love that record. That's number 14.
Okay. Number 14, we go to an album from 10 years ago. That's Night Area. And Night Area made several albums. In fact, eight studio albums. And this is the album called even kijken. Under a New Sign. Under a New Sign.
Yeah, that's good.
And in this band, in the beginning, were two members from Cliffhanger. And Cliffhanger will be later on in the show.
Okay.
And I mean Rini Huygen on guitar and vocals, and Gijs Koopman on bass.
Nice.
This is very melodic. Very melodic.
Yeah. Would you call that prog metal or melodic?
Melodic.
Yeah, it's awesome stuff. I love Night Area, but that's a band that I need to spend more time with, and that's the case on some of these, especially the ones that fall into, the Epicas and the Gatherings, that type of music. Not always my favorite, but you know what? I got an open mind, man. And here's one that you'll probably be seeing two from. I said I normally do one per band, but I couldn't resist on a couple of these. And here's one. I've got at number 13. I've got the debut album from Alcuin, Marks.
Yeah, great stuff.
Now their first two albums are both really good. I might be, giving away what other album by them is on here, but this one is a little bit different. It's got a little more of the kind of like the psychedelic jazz of a Caravan or something like that, and you hear a little Super Sister along the way. But Alcuin, really, really cool. And their debut album, Marks, I've got at number 13.
Okay, that's really nice. Then we go to Cliffhanger. They were active in the 90s, and they made 4 albums, and this is the first one, and this is called Mirror Side. And this band is more of, how do we say that, a little bit more complex, but very good. Cliffhanger with Remy Huigen and Gijs Koopman. Cliffhanger, Mirror Side. 4 albums.
You got me, man. I don't think I've ever heard anything by that band.
Okay, you can try this one. It's on YouTube. You can listen to it.
Yeah.
Cliffhanger, Mirror Side.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna double dip again. Here's a band I've got at number 12. Honestly, I could have put probably 3 or 4 of their albums in, but I am going in this spot with the Kayak, their debut album, See the Sun. Just fabulous, just fantastic. I'm a huge Kayak fan. Like I said, I could probably put, in the top 15, I could probably put 5 or 6 of their albums in there. A debut album just sounded so mature. Yeah, you could hear certain influences, but I just love what they do, and I'm a big fan of Max Werner's voice. So I'm a big fan of those early Kayak records, and I got the debut album at number 12.
Great. Then we go to my number 12. That's Silhouette with their first album, and it's called Beyond the Seventh Wave, Silhouette. And Silhouette is quite good, very melodic, and great stuff.
Yeah. Who's all in that band?
Sorry, I can't mention any name.
No, because I think Silhouette, I forget, but I think some of the members from Silhouette were in another band. I got to look that up because that's a cool band, and I love them. But I've got at number 11. I'm going with the Focus 3 because it's just a weird album. Everybody knows Sylvia, but growing up, I knew one thing about Focus, and it was Hocus Pocus. So the very first full album that I ever heard by them was Focus 3. And I wasn't prepared for what I was hearing. None of the music that I was really listening to outside of jazz had any degree of improv to it. I mean, Wakeman and Banks and Emerson, they played very structured stuff in their solos, but now all of a sudden you've got a lot of this freeform stuff happening on Focus 3. It took me a couple years to really figure it out, but yeah, that's what I've got at number 11 is Focus 3.
Thijs van Leer, Jan Akkerman, Bert Ruiter, and Pierre van der Linden. Yeah.
Yes, that was his first album.
Yeah.
Right?
Second.
Okay, and then, you're right. Second, and then he left, and
yeah,
you're right. And then he came back because he was not on Hamburger Concerto.
Yeah.
Okay.
Colin Allen was in that one. Okay, let's go to Mangrove. Maybe you haven't heard of this one. Mangrove. It's from 15 years ago, and this is their best album, Beyond Reality.
Okay, yeah, I have heard that one.
Also melodic.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good call. And now we're getting into some of the ones I talked about a little earlier at number 10. I'm going back to the Alcuin pit, and I'm going with their second album, The Mountain Queen. What's with the Dutch bands in the Queen? We had Kayak did Ruthless Queen, and Alcuin did Mountain Queen. There's another Queen coming up here in a minute, and I think you probably know what it's going to be. But at number 10, I've got a Mountain Queen by Alcuin, their second album. From 1973, a little more rocking than the first one, which was a little bit more, firmly in that jazz rock territory. this one maybe wears its influences on its sleeve a little bit more, but I'm a symphonic prog lover, so obviously I'm going to prefer the second Alcuin album, and I've got it at number 10, Harold. Number 10.
Then my number 10, Agden Heath with The Killing Silence. And this is a great album with different songs, but also a very long one. And that's really great. And it was released on the Dutch label SI Music, which went bankrupt 20 years ago.
Nice. It's prog rock. Nobody's making any money, Harold.
Yeah.
Nobody. I have not heard that one either.
Agden Heath, The Killing Silence.
Don't know it.
Great album.
Know that one. All right. Now I'm at number 9, Harold, and it's getting really good here. And you can argue all day long till you're blue in the face if Golden Earring is prog rock or not. Yeah, obviously some of their stuff was not prog rock, but I mean, at their core, at their best, I would argue that Golden Earring's absolutely prog, particularly their 9th album. From 1973, Moontan. It's just so awesome. I like every song on here. The what is it? Vanilla Queen. That's the other Queen. We had Ruthless Queen. We had Mountain Queen, and now we got Vanilla Queen. You would think the Netherlands had a queen, but you've got a king, so I don't quite understand it.
But in the 70s, we had a queen.
Oh, really? Okay, that explains it. But yeah, Golden Earring, man.
I will tell you. First, we had Queen Juliana, and then Queen Beatrix, and then King Willem-Alexander.
That's who we got now. Yeah. But, we've got Barry Hay. You've got George Kooijmans, Rinus Gerritsen, Caesar Zouderich. And it was that same lineup for a lot of albums, man. Like album after album, that same core 4. I guess they had a guitar player that played a lot, but was never like an official member. But those 4 were on like a whole bunch of albums in a row. I love Golden Earring, and that's why I got them at number 9.
Yeah, and the Golden Earring had a 50 years career.
Yeah.
50 years.
Impressive.
Okay, next one. Kayak. This is an album from 10 years ago. It's really good. And it's called Coming Up for Air. Coming Up for Air.
Yeah.
And because I thought about Kayak, of course, there will come an old album from them. But in 1999, they had a second life. This is one of them.
And, when a lot of bands disappear and come back, Harold, it's almost like I wish they never came back, because a lot of times it's terrible. That wasn't the case with Kayak, and I'll make a case that Kayak 17 was really good. Their last album was really good, and I guess they are no more. I guess they officially called it a day, which is really sad because I'm a big fan. But hey, man, number 8, I got a good one for you, Harold. A band we haven't talked about yet. At number 8, I've got A Billion Years of Solitude by Sky Architect. Their third album from 2013. I could have gone with the first album. Really like Excavations of the Mind. But I was listening to all their records in preparation for this. And man, A Billion Years of Solitude just stood out to me as just an amazing standout record. I absolutely love it. The track, The Curious One, that opens this thing, a 10-minute epic that's just crazy good. You've got Tom Lucci's on guitar and vocals, and the drummer for this band is pretty famous too. What's his name? Christian Bruin. Prog rock fans definitely should know who he is. Not just his work with Sky Architect, but also his solo work. Just awesome. And I can't believe it's this low at number 8. I got Sky Architect.
Okay, that's nice. Then number 8, a real classic, an instant classic, Focus, Moving Waves, with their hits, Hocus Pocus, and their epic, Eruption, 23 minutes long.
So
A
good.
real classic.
So good. I love it. I love it. You know, growing up in America in the 70s, the only thing I knew about, Dutch Prague was dude yodeling. So yeah, we missed out on a whole lot, but Focus, just incredible. Love them. I got something really cool at number 7, man. I thought I pulled the vinyl. I only pulled the vinyl on a couple of these because I'm lazy. I thought I pulled this one. I know I've got it in here somewhere, but I'm going with Trace and the album, their second album, Birds.
Very
I
good.
love this album, especially side 2. You know, we talked about the Ruthless Queen and the Vanilla Queen and this kind of queen. Well, this album's got a 22-minute epic called The King Bird, and it's just awesome, man. We
Great
talked
stuff.
about him before. It's Rick van der Linden. I know I butchered his name, Harold, but you know who was drumming on this album? Yeah, it's Ian Mosley.
From Marillion.
Ian Mosley's drumming on this one. Yeah, if you like keyboard-driven prog, definitely Trace is a band. If you haven't heard them, you need to hear them. They're just awesome. Power trio in the best kind of way. If you like, 3-piece bands that just kick out the jams. I will be doing an episode about best trios in the history of prog. I guarantee you Trace is going to make the list, and that's why I got him at number 7.
Yeah, and the main influence for Trace is Emerson, Lake, and Palmer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
You definitely hear it in their sound.
And we have also a German band, Triumvirat.
Yep. For
also
sure.
Very influenced by Emerson, Lake, and Palmer.
Indeed they were.
Okay. Arion, second album, Actual Fantasy. I really like this one.
Really?
It's fantastic. All Arion albums are good, but this is my favorite. The second one, Actual Fantasy.
Really? Okay.
Arian Anthony Lucassen.
What is it about that record you like so much? Because he's got a lot of records, man. Not just the Arian stuff, but the Star One stuff, and all the other things he's involved in. Why do you recommend that one?
Because the songs are very powerful, and I don't know, but I like it.
Yeah, I'm not sure I've heard that one. So maybe that's 3 out of your top 15. I don't know. This is a little embarrassing, but
try this one.
I will.
Yeah, Actual Fantasy, Arion.
I'm not, that type of prog. I tread very lightly on. I try to be very careful and respectful because I don't want to say something and make myself look like an idiot and B, offend somebody. So I just don't know enough about it to make a whole lot of commentary about that side of things. But one band I feel very, very confident about talking to you fools about is at number 6. This is a band that I absolutely adore. I love their first album, which came out in 1970. It was called Present for Nancy, but I'm going with their second album, To the Highest Bidder, came out in 1971, and I'm talking about Super Sister, and Harold's holding it up right now. He knows what time it is. What an amazing album that is. My goodness gracious. If you're not sure about Canterbury because you think it's just a bunch of stuck up, British people, living in Canterbury, walking around drinking Earl Grey tea and acting all snooty with their sweaters and whatnot. Listen to Super Sister. You'll realize it's not a geographic thing or a regional thing. It's an idea. It's a concept. Canterbury's an idea. Super Sister gets it, man. Just an incredible album. I'm so glad you agree with me on that one, Harold.
Yeah,
but I've got The Highest Bidder at number 6.
Later on in the show, I will show the same album.
Yes, you will. I get that feeling.
Next one, number 6, the debut.
Yeah, the debut
from Trace. It's from 1974, and it's with Rick van der Linden on keyboards and church organ, Jaap van Eyck on bass, and Pierre van der Linden from Focus on drums.
Yeah.
And it's fantastic. And here we have the great Rick van der Linden. Yeah,
man. Nice.
And Rick van der Linden, that's a sad story, died 10 years ago.
Yeah. Tragic loss. Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, I got a question for you, Harold.
Yeah.
Everybody likes the first two Trace albums. Let's be honest. If you like prog rock, if you like really, really quality prog rock with great keyboards, obviously with fantastic musicianship, because you had Pierre van der Linden on the first album, Ian Mosley on the second album, musicianship second to none. What do you think about that third album?
Bad.
Yeah, it's just
I don't like it.
Not good. It's not good.
Never,
okay.
I never listened to it.
Yeah, I'm glad we see eye to eye on that, man. Hey, here we go. This is a band neither one of us has talked about yet. I got a real good one here at number 5, Harold. I got a little band called Earth and Fire. You ever heard of those guys? And I've got the Song of the Marching Children, their sophomore album from 1971. There it is right there. Obviously, one of the seminal albums in the history of Dutch prog rock. One of the seminal albums in the history of prog rock. It's really that good. The epic track is absolutely amazing, but the rest of it is absolutely solid. Stellar record. And come on, it's Journey Cagman, boys and girls. Yeah. Journey Cagman, and then you had Chris and Gerald Gertz, the brothers. Hans Zeik on bass, and Ton van der Kleeg on drums. It's about as good a record as you could ever want from 1971. Just crazy, the amount of amazing music going on in 1971 around the world, people. It wasn't just in the UK. It was around the world. There was something happening, something going on, and great album.
Yeah. And I have a story about Chris Coates in 1996. I was with my brother at his home.
Wow.
And we interviewed him.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
And that was very nice. And his black Gibson Les Paul was on his wall.
Nice.
Great. Nice. And sad story, 5 years ago, Gerard Coates died. And 3 years ago, Chris Coates died. Oh. So that's a sad story.
That is sad, but that's that. It goes with the territory in prog rock. All our heroes are of a certain age nowadays, so
Yeah.
What you got at number 5, Harold?
Oh, number 5, yeah.
Yeah. Your 5, because my 5 was Earth and Fire.
Earth and Fire. Okay, great. Then number 5, Elquin, the Mountain Queen.
Yeah.
The first 4 albums are really good. The first one with Nobody Can Wait Forever, also very good. But this is my favorite.
Yeah.
The Mountain Queen, 1973.
Yeah.
And it's with Ferdinand Bakker on guitar.
It's a great album. It's a great album. If you guys don't know it, highly recommend it. Yeah. Both Harold and I agree on it, so it's got to be good.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Moving right along. I think you might have talked about this band already, Harold, but I can't do a top 15 Dutch prog rock albums without mentioning The Glory of the Inner Force. What a debut album, 1975. Finch. Right from the very first get-go of Register Magistra, that first track, every song's a banger. There's only like 6 songs on there. Like you said, it's all instrumental. They put out those 70s records. That last one, Galleons of Passion, had a different had a little different lineup on it, so it wasn't quite as good. But man, the lineup on these early Finch albums, Joop van Mingwegen. How do you say his name on guitar?
Joop van Nimwegen.
And then you got Clem Dietermeijer. He's so good. Oh man, Clem Dietermeijer on keyboards, and then boys and girls on bass, Peter Vink, and the best name in the history of rock and roll. The drummer's name was Beer Klaus.
Beer Klaus.
That's so great. What a band. I love them. What a band. Perfect album, perfect lineup. If you like Yes, and if you like maybe just a little jazz fusion and you don't want no vocals getting in your way, so good. I love it. I love it. That's my number 4.
Okay, my number 4 is Super Sister. Super Sister.
Yeah.
That's To the Highest Bidder. Great album.
It's amazing.
With Robert Jan Stips, Marco Vrolijk, Ron van Eck, and Sascha van Geest. And Ron and Sasha are no longer here. They're in heaven.
There we go again. You know, whenever we're talking about prog bands from the 70s, yeah, you're probably going to be talking about certain members who are no longer with us. So I told myself, Harold, that I was going to pick out of these top 15, I was going to pick a new band where everybody's still alive. A band that I actually just started getting into in the last 12 months or so. And I absolutely adore this thing, man. It's Hackberry. It's Breathing Space. It's their 3rd album. I've been told their first album's even better. I've heard the second one. I'm working my way backwards. This is better than their second album. But people keep telling me, you got to check out the debut album. So if it's even half as good as this, but I just love Hackberry's all instrumental stuff. If you like modern prog that kind of sounds, you know, like it could be maybe a little influenced by Rush or whatever, just amazing. And I want to call these guys out because they are amazing. Francesco Bernardi is one guitarist, Marjin de Boer, the other guitarist, Tim Heidskis on keyboards, Simon Vanima on bass, and Chris Becktum on drums. You guys, you're doing something right, man. You guys ate your Wheaties. I am so excited for album number 4 from Hackberry. Keeping Dutch prog alive. Just such an amazing record. Congratulations, boys. It's dynamite. 10 out of 10 work. Just great.
So
I got it.
I will check that one out.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3, Focus. Hamburger Concerto.
Yeah.
That's my favorite Focus album. In my opinion, 10 out of 10 points. A real classic. And on this one, we have Thijs van Leer, Bert Ruiter, Jan Akkerman, and on drums, Englishman Colin Allen.
Yeah.
And the title track is an epic, 20 minutes long, and it's fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
And in this song, Thijs van Leer is talking in Dutch, old lyrics from Joost van der Vondel. Yeah.
I love it.
And it's very melodic, very powerful, really 70s rock. Yeah. Great stuff. I like it.
I love Focus. Such a great band. Such an amazing band that, you know what? I might be talking about them again in a minute, but at number 2, it's my second favorite Dutch band. And I'm going with their eponymous sophomore album, Kayak. Some people call this Kayak 2. Some people call it Alibi. I don't care what you call it, man. I call it absolute perfection. They kind of figured it all out on the debut album, but come this second album, all the different like pop influences were kind of getting a little bit more pronounced, and it totally works. That's why people kind of compare them to Supertramp sometimes. I don't know about all that, because when you've got a 9-minute epic by the name of They Get to Know Me, that, you know, that's not your basic run-of-the-mill prog. Kayak was great. The Max Werner version, I guess he hated the sound of his own voice. So after 5 albums, he decided he was just going to be the drummer when Pim Koopman left. But you've got Johan Slager on guitar, of course, the great Ton Scherpenzeel on keyboards, Cees van der Leeuwen on bass, and of course, Pim Koopman. My favorite lineup of Kayak, their first 5 albums to me are just amazing. And this is my favorite Kayak album and my second favorite Dutch prog album of all time.
I can tell you, I totally agree.
Yeah.
This is my number 2. What
Yeah.
a coincidence.
Nice. Nice.
En Ton Scherpenzeel en Johan Slager, Pim Koopman, Kees van Leeuwen, Bert Veldkamp did a really great job on this one.
Yeah.
And the single is Wintertime.
I love it.
And as mentioned before, the two epics are they Get to Know Me and Trust in the Machine.
Yeah, it's a good song too.
Yeah.
So good.
Great stuff.
So good. So
And
good.
influenced, I can tell you, influenced by Yes.
Yeah. Definitely there's a Yes influence in there.
Yeah.
Their first couple albums in particular, but I'm a huge fan. I love Kayak. My first encounter with Kayak was the US version. And I would include this. This would be my favorite Dutch album of all time, but it doesn't count because this is kind of like a greatest hits album. You have 4 tracks from the last encore, 4 tracks from Starlight Dancer, plus you have a B-side, and you've got the better version of I Want You to Be Mine, because the European version of I Want You to Be Mine is absolutely terrible. It's awful.
Yeah.
It's garbage. It's disco. I hate it. The US version of that song is absolute genius. It's amazing. This was what got me into Kayak. But at number 1, you know it's going to be Focus. It was just a question of which one. And I'm going with Focus 2, which here in the States they called Moving Waves for some reason. But obviously the main reason why this one's number 1 is Eruption. It's just such an amazing epic. And we're talking about prog rock, not hit songs. Oh, wait a second. There's had a hit song on it too. It's got everything you want. Focus, just so great, completely underrated. They never got the credit that they were due, especially in the U.S. market. I think maybe having a hit maybe hurt them a little bit. I don't know. You know, they were just known as the yodeling band. Nobody would take them seriously. But seriously, this album's amazing. If you haven't heard it, if you just think about these guys as the band with the weirdo that yodeled, man, you're selling yourself and you're selling Focus. In fact, you're selling the whole country of the Netherlands short. Do yourself a favor. Check out Moving Waves. It's awesome.
It's awesome. A real classic.
It is. It really is.
My number 1, Earth and Fire, To the World of the Future. Oh, no. Sorry. That's another one.
Yeah.
This is Song of the Marching Children.
Yeah, it is.
Song of Marching Children. And the other good ones are Atlantics and To the World of the Future.
Yeah.
3 in a row. They're all good. But this is the best one. And the first one, which was really great, with Johnny Kaagman on vocals, Chris Coots on guitar, and Gerard Coots, the brothers, on keyboards. Great stuff. And the hit single is Storm and Thunder.
Yeah.
And the epic is the title song, Song of the Marching Children. 20 minutes long. Great stuff.
Hey, how's that? How do you feel about the debut album, the album that came out before this one?
Also good.
Pretty good,
but
right?
More late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah, definitely. But good stuff. Great band. You know, for a country with as few people as the Netherlands, they have been cranking out great music since the early 70s. It's kind of insane. They definitely punch above their weight. So I'm just so happy to talk to the one and the only Harold. The Netherlands' number 1 prog rock guy. Why he's not on fire, I don't know, because every time you come on, to the Prog Corner, people talk about you. So I'm happy to, reciprocate and be your first guest on your channel. Thank you for having me, Harold.
Scott from the Prog Corner, of course, great channel from the USA. I will thank you because this was an experiment and you were my first guest. And I think it was a great show.
I think so. Thanks for having me, Harold.
Okay.
And hey, we'll see you tomorrow.
With the Stick Show.
That's
on the
right.
Prog Corner.
That's right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Harold.
Bye.
We'll see you tomorrow.
You.
And then there's a button. There should be some button to press to end broadcast there.
End stream.
There you go. That'll do it.